Okay, I'm doing this one on the GoPro because the other one's my phone camera is fucked. Yeah. What time is it? What time is this to be drinking, eh? It is. Come on, you can't. Right, okay, 4:13 a.m. There you go. Drinking at. Well, it's not daybreak yet, is it? So it counts as being up. It'd be the same if I was out at a nightclub, wouldn't it? I'd be allowed to drink at 4:30 a.m. Just got to kind of justify it to myself. The reason being that I've got no money. Okay. Now, I've never got any money anyway, but I've seriously got no money now, and that's because I've been rejected on a work capability assessment. Yeah, been rejected the backdated stuff to August. Okay. Now what this means is that I'll have just over £1,000 less than I would have had otherwise. Okay, and nothing ongoing apart from 380 something a month, 385 I think a month. Okay, and I can't live on that alone. It's not possible. Okay. I've got to contest the outcome there, and it's easy to contest it, but the criteria are not what I was expecting. They're a lot tighter than I thought, which means that I don't know whether what chances I have of a successful challenge there. Yeah, it's got to be done though. It's got to be done. So I've got C6 nerve compression here. That's all done. Goes right the way down there. Well, up there. Sorry, across the neck and down the spine. I've got that, which is going to get an urgent operation, although at the moment, even though it's urgent, the NHS is keeping me waiting as ever. That's been a lot more than the 2 weeks that they were saying for that. I've got hyperacusis, which precludes work in factories and warehouses. That kind of noisy environment. I'm okay with mixing music and things because, of course, I can adjust things in the headphones, but it's not just about volume, it's about frequencies, and it's about a number of other things as well, but I'm not going to go into all that. Basically, the situation is that I've got to challenge that. So if you look at that CV, which I just uploaded, which is from the day before yesterday, people are asking, well, they're making suggestions that are very helpful, don't get me wrong, because I can see where they're coming from, and I can see that in my particular situation, that I can argue against that advice in each case, yeah? And this is what this video is about. I'm just saying, look, okay, thank you for the help, and it's still good to hear that kind of response just based on the actual CV. But they've also got to look at what the purpose of the CV is, and it's not to find work as such, okay? It may be to find work, it depends on what's going on. I've got to stop the DWP, okay, from offering me jobs that I won't do. Can't do or won't do. Now my doctor says this guy can't work. Okay, he's not capable of that, but they're saying you're capable of some work. It's not specified what that work is, so I've got to rule out anything that isn't going to help. Now very few things would help. Okay, that's because I'm going to be getting a DRO, right? Well, hopefully I'll get it when I apply for it. Now this DRO is dependent upon. I end up with losing 11, 13 grand of debt as a result, which is nice. But for a year, I've got to live on just whatever, the bare minimum, and I'm allowed £75 per month to myself if I get the DRO, okay? Now, that is not really, that's nothing to look, that's no reason to live, is it? But what I could do, if I can get that motorbike back on the road, I'm surrounded by instruments here that are all broken, okay, but the stuff I've lost, which is most of my belongings, to Big Yellow and to cash converters this year, if I can replace some more of that stuff, I've replaced a little. I've got a crappy MacBook there, to replace a really good one. But if I could replace instruments and get the motorbike back on the road, and have it adjusted such that I can actually ride it and do more self-employed work, yeah, including deliveries, right? Because that was sometimes doing quite well, £100 plus a day, sometimes, But because of that's what gave me the injury in my back and down here. So I can't have that bag on my back anymore. It can't be done. But what I can do is adjust the situation, re the back of the bike, which, as you presumably know, looks quite like a Harley. It would look a bit weird with a normal like kind of Deliveroo kind of box. It's not. I can get something relatively similar, and it will take the backpack inside. Okay, so and also it has a nice passenger rest and things, but that would cost probably another 500 or 600 quid on top of the £1.5 or so just to get the bike fixed. And then you've got the insurance, which has to be paid in advance, the home reward, which is like a couple of £100 a month, or every 4 weeks. So yeah, I mean, all this money I don't have, and at the moment I've got to pay 88 bills here on the 12th, which I have to pay because I'm being turfed out of this temporary homeless hostel anyway, because I've been here for 4 months. And that's actually what the length of the contract. They will let you stay longer in desperate situations, so that I might be okay. But otherwise, I get put into dispersal, and they give me somewhere inferior to here, in another hostel, or I go into a kind of a similar YMCA to this one, but it might be actually a shared house, or something like that. But the areas I'll have no choice about, so I'm going to be sent somewhere shit. I'm in a good place at the moment. I'm going to be sent somewhere crap. I need somewhere big enough for the stuff that's here and what's left in the new unit. And I don't want those bailiffs taking everything that I saved from Big Yellow's bailiffs, because I lost 80-90% of my stuff to Big Yellow's bailiffs earlier this year. And also to cash converters. That was just keeping the bike on the road before the injury. So you see, my situation is not that straightforward, and it gets even more complicated because the thing is that if I do some PAYE work, okay, and I combine that with self-employment, then I'm okay as far as the DRO is concerned, because what they're looking at there is like kind of expenses. So if I'm spending loads of money on my motorbike, loads of money on music, as long as I'm still self-employed in those areas, which I am at the moment officially, I'm temporarily unemployed, but that's because of the being ill, yeah? So the thing is that, I can actually take that out of legit expenses, and then I've got that plus £75 to spend on myself a month, as opposed to not having anything to spend on that. So that's why I have to be self-employed again, okay? I have no choice. But I also that isn't making enough money. There's not enough money to keep the bike on the road. There's not enough money to keep music going, nothing. Just on based on those activities, okay? I don't want to do translation. I don't want to do, I was shit at interpreting when I last did it anyway, yeah? I drink a lot. So the thing is that ultimately my brain's fucked. I mean, I've been doing that since 1981 when I was 17. So what state is my brain in, It's no good, I'm trying to say, okay, I'll take this job, I'll take that job. And doing it half well, The last interpreting job I did was 2000, yeah? And it was for a big agency, and it was £75 for an hour, yep? It was for the biggest, the best agency in London, and it was an asylum-seeking case, and it was I wasn't crying because I don't know whether the guy was lying or not, but I'm not allowed to go into too many details. Well, not about the person anyway, because that's classified, isn't it? It's like kind of you'd be a breach of whatever it is, data protection or whatever. But yeah, I can tell you just generally that the guy seemed to think that he was being sent to his death, and his family was here as well. Their case was hanging on his. This is in London, and he chased me down the Gray's Inn Road, to my flat in N1, which was Caledonian Road. The Cali, maybe the Scala, opposite Scala. He chased me right the whole length, screaming at me, because the two Home Office interpreters who'd reviewed his case first time said no, and then I was brought in as a last resort, and I couldn't help him either, because there was no way that, because of the officialese getting original documents from Colombia to the UK, there was no way that could even be done, right? So I was being blamed for somebody being sent to their death, which I wasn't sure was true, but it may have been, yeah? So that was the last one I did, and I thought, fuck it. I don't even want to wear this tie. I had a tie on, and I was thinking, this ain't me, fucking barrister's chamber. I didn't want to be. I was okay in the barrister's chamber when I was suing my ex-landlord in the 90s because I won. You know, I got the fucking money. I got it out. I got it out of court. But I got on the steps of the court, and that was great. So yeah, you know, I don't mind mixing with barristers who are on my side and solicitors who are on my side. Yeah. In fact, I ditched the first solicitor and I said, "I think you're working for the other side, yeah." And she wouldn't shake my hand, not surprisingly. And then I switched solicitors, and I got the money I wanted there. So anyway, that's going off track now, isn't it? I mean, the thing is that that's the kind of thing that happens with interpreting. Yeah, you end up in places doing things that you think, this fucking ain't me, man. I don't want to do it. So that's why the CV that I put out there is as it is. I've got to focus on the musical side because I've got to make sure that if I'm going to get any PAYE, it's going to be related to the areas, the specific areas, yeah, that I need to invest in at the moment, which are the motorbike on the one hand, so that's mentioned, and music on the other. And I've been like kind of trying to get this stuff out for fucking 3 years now, this new album. It's been like 3 years since I started. It was going to be a double, wasn't it? Now it's a triple. I've had the last year almost, the 27th, it'll be 1 year since I was made homeless by that guy in, what's in that, well, you know, Garston, yeah? South Liverpool. So the thing is that I can't, I can't really move from where I am. I'm being caged by the state of my circumstances constantly. And now I'm going to have to pay 120 on the unit plus the fine on the unit for the late payment because it was due today. So that's going to be a minimum of £132, 88 pounds to the guys here, so I don't get kicked out of here. You know, that's just for the bills, okay. Mobile phone, £21, 5 pence per month. That's gone up. My business account, which is the only one I'm going to have after the DRO, there's now a £10 charge on that, okay, which wasn't there before since I opened it, which was in 2007, which is when the Road Records, that's what I'm trading, guys, that's when I set that up, prior to the first bankruptcy, you know, which was like for 30 grand, it was worth doing. But this is only like 11, 13 grand, but I've no choice because I've no other way of sorting things out, you know. I've got until the 21st with one credit card company here, and the other guys are due round about now. So there's like kind of, I think there's about 7 grand owing to one lot, plus 800 overdraft to them. And then there's money to the DSS, but whatever they're called now, DWP. But that can get written off as part of the DRO, okay? And then the other card is about a bit more now, 2,000 whatever, 700 or something. But I don't pay it if I get the DRO, so it doesn't matter how much it is, does it? I just don't want them fucking hassling me, man, because I've had enough. So basically, that is the situation. So that's why that CV looks like it looks. I don't know what I'm looking for. Am I looking for work? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to do something. I haven't got enough from self-employment alone anyway, even if I were able to do it at the moment, which I can't because of that and because of this, yeah, and also because of the hyperacusis. I've got gout as well, but I mean the gout comes and goes, but basically I've got enough on that form to give me a bit of breathing space and give me a bit of cash if I can reverse that decision from the 26th of September, yeah, which is what I've got to try and do. So yeah, I just thought, I mean, I know it's a bit of a boring update in terms of like kind of, oh my God, well, what's he banging on about himself for all the time? Well, it's just that I've got nothing else to think about at the moment. I was going to do a really good, informative video in German about about bonfire night, because I don't have bonfire night. Yeah, I was going to do all that stuff and film it around here and go to the pier head and film, but there were no fireworks. It's bonfire night, no fucking fireworks. So I couldn't do that, yeah, because of the circumstances. And then Jim Connolly, the guy I saw earlier, he's a kind of high up person really in the NHS, but he also does medicine on the front line, if you like, for wars and that kind of stuff. USM, is it? I think it's called USM. It's international thing. I can't remember in this state, but I can't remember what it stands for now. But he does that stuff, and he's rarely in one place. He's in different countries. He's moving around all the time. He's like me. But the thing is, it was great to see him Last night now, it's yesterday, isn't it? I mean, it was great to have a chat with somebody and see a real person in the real world, because I don't normally get to do that, you know. Apart from alkies in pubs generally, with the odd exception. I mean, there was one guy with his dog that I met a couple of days ago, a guy called Bob, and he was writing poetry in the pub, and he was really, really quite clued up at it. It was good poetry, and he was intelligent, and he was, you know, interesting to talk to and everything. It's good to have that instead of just coming across pissheads. And I'm not saying I'm not a pisshead myself, but at least I've got a brain somewhere in there. Some people just don't have one. And if they do, it's probably going to vote for Nigel Farage. You know? So I don't want that company. Anyway, I've got to go because this thing, I can't read it from here with just one lens in, but I know that it's going to time out any minute. So thanks for watching this, if you've watched it. And yeah, you know, if you skip forward, don't worry, I don't give a shit. It's just I want everything on record, and some people might just be able to see things and say, maybe Steve, you could do this and do that. But just commenting on the CV and thinking of it as an average CV ain't going to work, because the purpose of the CV isn't to get work per se. That's one of the things it's meant to do. It's almost like it's written for the DWP. I'm not an employer, yeah. But then there's enough in there to cover the specific areas which I'll be looking for some kind of PAYE work in. Maybe, yeah. I've got to do something. I don't want to be out, you know, doing shite work that either I can't do or I don't want to do. I'm in a quandary at the moment, but I can actually move forwards with things if I'm successful. Either both with the appeal here, read the work that I'm capable of. Okay, on the one hand, and then on the other, make sure that I haven't lost all my belongings and that I can get sorry. Get the instruments back that I've lost, replace them, and get that bike on the road, and just get back to fucking living normally. I think everyone, you know, should have a chance there, you know. But the state here, they're not giving me any fucking chances. You know, they just take you know, any excuse to take money off you, and they'll fucking take it. Okay, right. Cheers for watching. Thanks. Okay, bye.